Hey Maria, how are you?
Hi, Barrett. Good morning. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good today. Thank you. I had a chill morning pretty much. How has your morning been?
It's great. Actually, we just went live with Admira yesterday.
Mm.
We're still getting familiar with the system. It works similarly to practice access, but there's still quite a bit of setup to do, especially when it comes to configuring automations.
Ah, I see. Okay, so you're still in the process of that.
Yep, we've noticed that we haven't or our templates are not configured yet, so Danny's working on getting that set up to make my life easier, um when
Yeah.
moving a client to one column to another. We do have that email that triggers that's being sent to the client when we were still using practice access, but now we have to reconfigure that one in Admira just so we can have the same automations that we had in practice access.
Okay, okay. Yeah, cool. I didn't know she was working on that, but she is very tech savvy.
Yep.
So that might explain why she hasn't emailed in about that, unless she's emailed support, maybe, and I don't know. Um,
I think she did. It was just like she needs some guidance on how to configure some of the automations. But I think it's all good. We're just waiting for Admira to have it resolved within the day, just
okay.
so for tomorrow we'll get a ball rolling for our clients. But I'm manually sending the emails while we're waiting for Admira, so it keeps things moving.
Okay. All right. That's a good update because that should be a pretty fast thing to help with. And because you're telling me that, now what I'm thinking is I could send her, we have a Google spreadsheet with a raw data list of every automation that was transferred into Admira. And that might be helpful for her to just see that in a spreadsheet. I don't
Yeah,
know. So,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, because I mean, it's really easy to make an email go when you move the journey over. It's really easy. So, so that should be something they can help with really quickly, or I don't know if there's a if it's supposed to be sending and it's not or something like that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can do that, especially now that we're trying to fill a lot of spots as much as we can. So the automations would really help us.
Yeah. All right. Well, if nobody else pops in, uh I will screen share and just see if I can get a sense of it.
Yep.
Because I can go into your account. Because I don't know, maybe it's more complicated, but some of that might be really easy to help you with. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have another concern though.
Oh, what is
I
it?
c- I didn't know how to pull the data. The one that we use to fill out the sheet, the KPI sheet, when we were
Ah,
using practice
yes.
access.
Oh, Maria. Yes. Like, yes. Okay. Completely understand that. Um, I have to, yeah, I have to send an update about where you should look for each piece of data.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you.
You should not have to figure that out. Yeah. So I completely understand you don't know where to pull it. This is like it's
Yeah.
one thing after another. First making sure that you're transferred and then making sure your configurations are set and then figuring out the reports. So I feel bad for the client care mastermind because that's kind of like the last thing I'm gonna figure out and finalize. So I feel bad I haven't done that yet, but there hasn't been any way because Admira is still in the process of creating the reports on the Admira dashboard. So they're not even ready. But when they're ready, like in a week or two, they're gonna reflect the previous, like your current data that you're working through right now.
That's
But
perfect.
I don't have the dashboard, the new dashboard, to be able to tell Client Care Mastermind what to do in the sheet. So, yeah, that makes total sense. Welcome, Matthew. Do you prefer Matt or Matthew, or does it, do you have a
Ma-
preference?
Matt.
I thought you liked Matt. Okay, and I used to call you Matthew all the time because of what it says in Zoom. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome. So we were just talking about just how to pull the fact that once you've transferred to Admira, uh, it's hard to pull the numbers for Client Care Mastermind at the very present moment, but it won't be going forward. We will figure it out and give you clarity on that. Um, yeah, it might be just your two practices today, like given what I know about everyone else, except Aisha. Aisha, who's in Houston, she might be joining us, but Gloria is not, and then Amanda is on leave. So I think it's probably just the three of us. Um, so we have more time with each topic. So Maria, I know you just went live with Admira yesterday. Oh, here comes Stacy. So hang on while Stacy pops in. Where is it? Oh, she's not here. Yes, she is. Okay, cool. Hi, Stacy.
Hey Barrett,
Hey, how are you?
good. How are you?
Good. I was just saying it's probably just these two practices today, unless Aisha pops in. And Maria was about to give updates. So Maria, you just went live with off of Practice Access onto Admira yesterday. Um, how else has how's that been going? And then how's the rest of the week? We kind of just talked about the Admira stuff, but how has it been at your practice since last week?
Well, I don't have any big updates as of now because we focus on transitioning, but we do have a lot of open spots from our clinicians for children, so we're trying to fill them out. We've already scheduled most of the kids that are on the wait list. So
Oh, okay.
we're hoping to get more inquiries that are kids so we can fill those spots that are open right now. And Jen told me, the practice owner, that we're hiring interns this August. So we will have more spots that will be open for the upcoming month. And just hoping for the best since we do have a lot of people, or let's see how many people are on the wait list. We have 15 people on the wait list right now, and the reason why they're not scheduled was because there are no openings on the clinicians that are assigned to them, or they have scheduling preferences that are not available as of the moment.
Okay, okay, got it. So they don't, right, they don't have any spots or there's no clinician available. Okay. So 15, yep, if you're hiring some interns, probably you could be working through those 15. I've heard worse, like longer wait lists than that. So it sounds like they're manageable. You're on top of it with
Yeah,
the
what I've noticed last week was there were a number of people, or like previous clients from X months ago, that were going back to therapy.
Oh, okay. Kids or adults or both?
Both.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, maybe people are revisiting therapy and there's more time in the schedule now.
Yeah, because it's summer. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. And how about the number of people you've had to like mark as lost? Have you had a well how like have you had a lot of people you're marking as lost?
Yeah, this time the main reason why we're marking people as lost was due to the clients not responding to us. Um, for the previous weeks, the main reason was out of network insurance, but last week it was because they're not responding, and we um we usually give them like 2 weeks, or we reach out to them for the entire 2 weeks until they respond. But now we we assume that they have found another provider, or they're not interested anymore, so we mark them as lost.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so how have you been sticking to that 2 week outreach?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you were bringing up automations earlier in Admira. That is something that you can definitely build in over the course of the 2 weeks too.
Yep,
Um,
and Danny and I just wish that the text feature in Admira would be available soon because that's how we get people to respond.
yes, yes, right. So that it is going to be available very soon, like with
Thank
one
you.
1 to 2 weeks. Like they were saying by the end of this month, but like literally 1 to 2 weeks, it'll be ready to go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And it'll be better than the one in practice access. But I know that's like a sticking point at the moment. Um, while you are, I don't know if this helps you in any way, Maria, but in the next 3 days, you can still log into practice access. So you were texting from practice access, right?
Figure that one out. I used the text feature this morning and
Okay.
found it still working. So
You went
I
in
think
there
we're
just to
we're
text
good.
somebody? Okay.
Yes, for
Yeah.
scheduling.
I meant to tell people that, but then it was like only a few days, but yeah, definitely. Some people are just like keeping the unified inbox up so they could see if something comes in and you can just if there's anyone you can get like it's faster to get a response, you can do that. I know it's like choppy, but
But it's fine as long as it's working. We're all good. As long as we can get people scheduled, we're all
yeah.
good.
Yeah, yeah. And that's good. You already figured that out. And I think the with lost like this particular month, we want to look back at the metrics and see how many were marked as lost last month and did the percentage get that's our contest to see who had a lower lost percentage this month than last month. So that is something we can look at. Even though it's a little tricky to check in practice access now, if you've switched in the last 3 days, it doesn't matter. We can still figure it out. Since there's only a few of you, let me take a minute to actually check if I could see what last month's lost percentage was. Um, but Maria, you might have it. Let me just check. For, okay, for July, you had 30% lost. Are you seeing the same thing as me, Maria?
Yep.
Okay. For June, did I say July?
Yeah, you did say July.
For June, you had 30% lost. And then for July, it's not tracking for some reason. Weird. Let me see in the monthly goals. Hmm. Why is it not tracking in July? Well, if so the last week is the 24th to the 31st. Do you think, Maria, just for this month, you could just put from like column, let me just share my screen. Do you mind if I share your sheet, Maria?
Yeah, sure.
Um, so I'm thinking like even though this column is the 24th to the 31st, can you put in numbers for just the 24th to the 28th?
Yeah, I'll try.
And then like the way you get them from practice access, and then I can help if there's any stragglers in Admira, like which there will be, I can help go in and add them in. But even if we look at it as if the month was like a shorter month, like we just look at it as if it was February, we just look at it till the 28th and see how far you got. At least it will give us a closer percentage. I just don't know why it's not. What if I put this? Okay, it just needs yeah, it just needs some number here and then it'll calculate that percentage for us. So
Let me try that.
in your spare time, if you have some
Yeah.
time. I would just put it through the 28th and grab it from practice access and see what it says. Cool. So, any questions besides the Admira automations? Any other questions or places you're stuck?
Um, Nothing for now. We're still figuring out Admira, so yeah, we're kind of stuck on that. So after
Okay.
everything's set up, maybe we'll have more questions.
Yes, sure, totally. And if we have time, we can uh troubleshoot. The what you're still stuck on Admira in general, or just particularly that email that's when the automation's not set up?
Just the automation,
The
since
automation.
it's
Okay.
consuming a lot of my time. Doing those emails, especially
Yeah.
in insurance verification. We used to have that automated in practice access, so you don't have to compose the email manually or copy and paste template, and it's quite taking a lot of time doing that.
Yeah. This is super solvable. This is something that is super solvable. That, yeah, this is not a Admira glitch. This is something we can just get set up. So, because I don't want you to be typing and retyping. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. But I know she's in communication with them about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Danny already opened a ticket to configure that one or to resolve that. So I think maybe we're hoping that tomorrow everything will be fixed.
yeah. You do not need to type and retype. The template should be in there. You should be able to click and send or automatically send. That is not there are other things I've heard of that are glitching or not working, but that is not one of them. So that should be set up for you very soon. Cool. Thank you. And then Matt, how has the week been for you? What's going on in King of Prussia?
Well, the week has just begun for me.
Okay.
But um last week was pretty um normal, I guess. Well, normal as normal can be now. I mean, there was like a couple situations where like we had people like marked lost because we hadn't heard from them for weeks, right? And then suddenly they came back and filled out all their paperwork. And then
Oh,
several other situations where people like made their inquiry. I immediately sent them the paperwork and they finished all of it in 20 minutes and they were already on towards verification. And just like I think that there was like three people that was the case for. Like some people were very enthusiastic and I hope everything works out for them. So
wow.
yeah, so that was certainly fun. Lot that there was some technical issues that we were dealing with as well. I'm still have to talk to Stacy about where we are with it. Like the simple practice wasn't letting us create a profile a for a inquiry who like we scheduled an appointment for we are trying to make their profile in simple practice, but their what is it? Their email address was already in use as the primary email address for their child who also goes here. So it
Oh,
wasn't letting us do that. So w there's some figuring out that's got to be done with that, I think. But I was able to make the profile. We just weren't able to send them the client portal link. So that was
sure.
yeah, some technical things that need to be worked out. But otherwise, pretty pretty normal. There was a lot of there. I feel like there was a lot of inquiries. And I need to see where all of those ended up now that I'm back in. But it there was a lot of I mean a lot of people who have been sitting in paperwork sent in practice access for a while. Who like we've been trying to follow up with, and sometimes we get a hold of the people, sometimes we don't. Sometimes someone is like, yeah, I was in surgery and I'm recovering, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
uh but yeah, it feels like I don't know, just kind of still don't know where we're at, so to speak. I still need to look at the at the email, and that'll give me an idea of where we're at. But
Okay. Yep.
yeah,
So, because you just had your 2 days off, right? You
well,
were
no, I only have one day off at
you
a
had
time,
Sunday
but
off, so you're coming back. This is the beginning of the week now.
for yeah, so I was here Sunday, and I was not here on Monday, so now
Got
yeah,
it. Yeah, I thought you worked over the weekends. I didn't know if it was both days. Got it.
yeah,
Okay.
no, I have off on Saturday and Monday, so
Ah, okay, got it. So you dip in on Sunday and then you are off again. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like some people were marked as lost and then all of a sudden they filled out their paperwork. So they're
Yeah.
back in the race. Okay.
I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah.
So
They would do if they fill their paper, sorry, were they marked, what do you do? Do you create a new journey or do you restore the journey?
just restore the journey that they already had.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's easy enough to do that.
Mm.
If you know their name. But yeah, a
And
lot
how
of
do you find out
yeah,
they did their paperwork? You get an email.
get an email, yeah. So like when I see people sending in paperwork in through the email, I basically reverse search their email address and see, okay, who is this person and what was up with that, right? And then I can find the journey and practice access through that. And see what happened. It's like, oh, we marked this person lost because we didn't hear from them in 2 weeks, and now their paperwork is done. I'm just gonna restore the journey,
Nice.
may as well. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what I think about that a lot because I think about what's like the amount of time where you'd want to start a new journey versus restore it.
I think that would be like a month. Like if we,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it's a month too, because who knows if their insurance changed or whatever. But also,
yeah,
I think then if you are looking at conversion reports, if it's like a totally different calendar month, they may have been marked as lost in that month. And if you reopen their journey, it changes last month's numbers. Also,
yeah,
that's to the level that you care. Like to the also it can
yeah,
be more convenient to just open their journey if nothing has changed. So yeah, okay. And there's these it's like because there's the stages in the pathway. I feel like it's like developmental milestones in life. Some people go through them really fast, some people go through them long, it takes longer to get through them, but everybody goes through all of these milestones. And maybe they get their paperwork done like in 20 minutes, or maybe they're hanging out there. Yeah. Yeah. Any places that you're stuck or anything else?
I wouldn't say stuck at the moment. I mean the technical difficulties with simple practice is maybe a little bit of a stopgap, but I'm sure we can figure something out one way or another. But yeah, I mean, as far as like stuck, I don't I don't really think so. Also, I just looked at your bookshelf and I think I have one of those books.
Okay, hang on.
But
Which one?
um wait, what is that book that has the red and white lettering?
Wait, this one?
No, on the far left.
This one?
Which is that one?
How to be an anti-racist.
I don't have that book.
Okay.
Maybe I should have that book. I don't know. But it
Yeah.
looked like a book I have on my shelf.
Oh, funny. I'm so glad you could see them. I didn't know
Yeah.
if people could like see, well, you could see them to an extent.
Yeah,
Because
I
most
can't read the words, but I can see the spines.
most of them are theater books. Like and some are like psychology books. So that's very
Like
interesting.
screenplays or like books about theater.
Books about theater.
Okay.
Like how to, because I studied theater directing, so I studied like actor method, performance training methods.
Yeah.
So I like to weave that into like the conversation coaching and training that I do too. But then this one is very good. This is set boundaries, find peace. Everyone should, this is very important for people that
Yeah.
have trouble with boundaries, like me. Very good.
Mhm.
I recommend it.
I most of the stuff on my bookshelf is like s snobby English major books because I'm an English
Oh,
major.
right. Yes.
So
You know, you're giving me an idea. For a client care mastermind, we could we could recommend books too, or audio books or podcasts. We could do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you
so
for noticing.
yeah. Something about the books on my shelf is that I don't even like most of them. There's a lot of books that I read in school that I just have the physical copies of that I don't like. Like The Stranger, which The Stranger is a book I know a lot about. I've read it like 3 times. I do not like it. I have very, I have very big opinions about that book.
Well, yes, sometimes you need to hang on to things even if you don't like them. Like just they had a part in your life. Yeah. Cool. You're giving me ideas. Thank you. Stacy, how was your week? What updates do you have?
Well, not that you all didn't know this already, but Matt is awesome.
Oh, I do know that. Yay. Must
M-
sounds like he's been a big help because there's a lot.
Huge, huge help. Huge, you know, great team player. Love it. Um, highlights for me. So things are really, hey,
I did. I somehow did it.
look. Um, things here are interesting because it's just Matt and myself. We have a lot of hours to cover. Matt has taken the laboring oar of the whole intake process, going through the emails, um, and working paperwork sent, really trying to move people through the process. And I value him tremendously for being able to take that as I look at other types of things. One thing that working alone does bring me is more experience in working the process. And I would say that as challenging as working alone is, there is this learning opportunity that's happening because what other choice do I have, right? Which is making me become much more familiar with the practice access process, which I think can only help for when we switch over to
For
Admira.
sure. Yeah.
So, things that I was looking for at the beginning, like, um, I like to work very much like a computer program. If this happens, then do that. Um,
Yeah.
type of work. And, it helps me to understand where we are in the process. So, if I get an inquiry, then I send an email with the forms, that kind of thing. And I actually, last night scheduled two intakes, which was great.
Cool.
With more confidence than I have in the past. Sent my questions to Matt at the end of the day, just because I want him to double check and make sure I'm doing all of that properly. We're finding I'm finding that a lot of people who are in the system, in the intake system, are doing more follow-ups. We're getting more, I want to know where I am in the process. I want to know how
Oh,
long I'm
they're
going to have
following up
to wait. They're
with you?
following up. They're following up.
Well,
They get an email that says that their information went to billing for verification. And then that's prompting them to call and say, when is that going to happen? So yesterday I got a call from someone who said, I just want to follow up. Where am I in the process? And I said, and it may take a couple days, and that verification got completed an hour later. So I was
that,
able to call her back and she was very excited, and we were able to get that scheduled as soon as possible. So that's really good. The other thing I was able to do yesterday, which I haven't had a lot of time to do, is I went through the whole right side of the practice access, the intake schedule that I could then move to post intake
uh-huh.
scheduled. And then, so I actually got to move people, convert people to clients yesterday, which was a lot of fun. Of course, I didn't have time to do my KPI spreadsheet,
Okay,
um,
it's okay. Yeah.
but at least, or I don't even want to say at least, but it was really great to be able to me be the one to move through the process to see what happened. And,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that confetti in
Yeah.
Admira when you when you convert someone. But all in all, I think that working with Matt has helped me stay sane. And as we continue to move people through the process, he may not like me so much when he sees the inbox email, but
Don't look yet, Matt. Don't look.
but
No.
but yeah, we're doing the best we can to get through it all and try to work that intake process the best we can.
Wow. Yeah, it's really wonderful to watch. Like kind of in the last 6 months, how hectic things have been, particularly on the billing side, and then to hear that that has become more easeful, that like you can get answers a bit, but then
Right.
seeing like your team shrunk and now you're having this, which was super hectic and hard, and now you're able to kind of like laser in on the process because you're doing it, because there aren't as many people doing it.
Right. One of the things I'm really looking forward to with the Admira, and maybe it's the way we use practice access, I'm not sure, but things are not generally dated on the tickets themselves. And
Okay.
so and I had asked this question last time about will dates show up on various, and and you confirmed that on one of our meetings, one of the
Yeah.
things that we went to, because I feel like it's an inefficient use of time to have to go into everything over and over and over again to see
Yes.
the last time, to see when it was scheduled, or
Yep.
when
Hmm.
the more I feel like the more you can see on the ticket that's
Better.
reasonable, the easier it'll be to, not have to duplicate work over and over again and having to look into those tickets and see what's happening,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't remember when your question from before, but that does make sense. That is something that the views are really important and that people ask for a lot and worry about a lot. It just like how long has it been here and what's the next step? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There it's funny because I feel like there's more of that in Practice Access than Admira, but maybe not. I don't know.
More of what in practice
There's
access?
there's like the different views, being able to see like in a list, when you put it in a list in Practice Access, you see a lot more information than when you put it in a list in Admira. But I know
Okay.
they're working on that. And then Admira, it'll show you in the top right, like how long it's been in each stage, which is great. And it'll show you on the checklist whether everything on the checklist has been done or not. But in Practice Access, it shows you the due dates on the task. And in Admira, it doesn't show you the due dates on the task. So I am working on synergizing all of that. Like,
Yes.
we're working on like making it obvious to know what the next step is. Yeah. So I hear that. Yeah. But that is great that you two are working so well together and that it just sounds like there's so much to do at your practice. Like you're open 7 days a week and there's so many moving parts. I just think like ideally as you're doing it too, Stacy, it shouldn't be that you're doing it nonstop forever, but you and Matt will be able to train and guide the next person so much better because you're optimizing it now, like you're in it now, right? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. I like how you said like computer program, like if this, then that. Because I think also Maria, was talking about automations right in the beginning, because and at her practice, Danny is rebuilding a lot of the automation. So when you get into Admira, then it presents the opportunity, well, even before you go live with Admira, it presents the opportunity to like set up all that logic yourself. Like we added your automations into Admira, but you can decide like, okay, every time somebody comes here and they were from the website, we want them to get this email. Every time they come here and it was like a manually created inquiry, they get this email. So you can think through a lot of that. And I encourage you to think through a lot of that, but we could talk through like what the nitty gritty of that is, like before
Sure.
you even go live. Because you might be able to optimize things you see in Practice Access. You might see opportunities to make more conditional logic that streamlines for you. Oh, I'm dropping things. Yeah. Um, Great. I know I'm meeting with your team about Admira tomorrow, I think. So
Right.
I will want to talk through like from the very top of the funnel, the top of the pathway, what happens at every stage and who's doing what. So we could look at the automations, update them, and just like make sure when you get in there, it's transferable. Like you see
Right.
all your journeys, you pick up from scratch. You don't go from scratch. You pick up from where you left off. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Um, and it's okay you haven't done the KPIs. I think for July it'll be easy to pull them from Practice Access and then when Admira's finishing making the dashboard match our dashboard, this is quite a project. The whole migration in general, this whole transition is quite a project. So they'll finish that like in the next week or two. And then I will let everyone know in Client Care Mastermind how to get the reports differently in Admira. Yes. Um, oh, and how is the training, not training? Do you and Dr. W even have the bandwidth to be hiring? Are you looking for someone else on the
We
team?
are. We've got interviews. I have an interview. I'm doing an interview tomorrow. I'm doing an interview on Friday. I had done 2 interviews. Neither of them worked out. But we're also working on bringing in new interns or new people, new therapists. So that's happening too.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
there's so much going on.
Yeah, you didn't even mention that, and I was like, I think that might be happening in the background, in addition to clinicians. All right,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you for coming here, and I send you strength. You guys are on a endurance-based path right now. This is good. This is good. Cool. I wanted to jump in and show everyone just to talk about the challenge that I put this week. Um, right here, this one is the one that we put up. So you have 5 days to complete it if you would like to go in and make a comment. But I just want to ask you just verbally too. So what criteria do you use to determine if a prospective client's acuity, I think that might be a typo. I don't know, is a good fit for your practice. But if a prospect is a good fit. So I'm particularly curious if at your practice, like you're screening for any red flags that I don't know if red flags is too harsh, but just bad fit clients, like not a good fit. And what do you use to screen for that? Um, and how do you refer them out if they need a higher level of care? So maybe they're a bad fit because they're severe and they need something beyond your practice, or maybe they're a bad fit because they want a very specific, they just have a clinical need that there's no one on your team that helps with. Um, so I don't know, Maria, how does that go for you? Like, what are you listening for not good fit clients, but bad fit clients?
We ask them during the intake what they're looking for, or the reason why they're seeking therapy. And for example, they mentioned something like severe drug addiction. We don't do that in our practice, so we immediately refer them out. And we do have a list of referral facilities that or facilities where we refer those people to when we can provide the services. So we have it handy just in case someone would inquire about it, and we'll just provide them the contact information of the practice, or sometimes we call the practice and let them know that there's a client coming in from us.
Oh, okay, cool. And are you the one that calls the practice?
Yeah, sometimes if they pick up the phone, because most practices here in Illinois are automatically being, or the calls are automatically being routed to voicemail, and they opt us to send emails
Okay.
instead of calling. So the best way is to provide the client the phone number and the email address of the practice, as well as the location.
Okay. Okay, got it. Got it. Yeah, so yeah, so one of the things you're listening for is that if they mention they have a drug addiction, they're looking for support with that. Yeah. Is there anything else that you listen for?
Yeah, sometimes they would proactively tell me that they need evening appointments, which are not available. So we tell them
Oh,
immediately to set their expectations that we can't provide, or we can't accommodate their preferred time. So if they really need, or they're really not available during the day, I suggest that they check in with other practices who may be able to accommodate the time that they need.
yes. Okay. Right. Because but they might, that's a little bit different than what I mean by a good fit client, because they might be a good fit, but they just can't make the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I'm thinking about like anything like as far as like clinical need or, what they're saying that might indicate you can't help them at your practice, even if you did have a good time, like a good time
Yeah.
talking to them.
One
Yeah.
one good example I think is medication management because we don't have psychiatrists or psychologists in our practice. We only have therapists, and we can only provide therapy. And if they need medication management, we have to refer them out.
Okay, got it. Got it. Yeah, and what do you say to them like if they are coming with and they say they need help with drug addiction, for example, and you can't do that? Like how do you respond? How do you
We do have a script for that. We usually begin with we know that time is essence when it comes to therapy, or when it comes to the help that you need. So we let them know that we can provide the service, and we, as much as possible, we provide them with alternative options with other practices who can accommodate their needs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's cool that you have a script for this because I feel like it's a very sensitive way thing, to help someone find help somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
let them know that we're willing to help if we could, but if we
Mhm.
can't, we try our best to let them know what their options are. If there are any other practices that could provide. We usually, or those practice or the referrals usually comes from Jen.
Oh,
She provides us with the facilities that she trusts, where we can refer those clients to.
oh, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, that is great. That is really great. I wish there was a uh a referral network. Some people have mentioned like wouldn't it be cool if two practices that use the same CRM, like Practice Access or both use Admira, could like send somebody to the other practice, like and like have a digital tracking of the fact that you sent them over there, because you share the same software. But the most important thing is that you verbalize that and that they reach out too. But on a technical level, that's something a lot of practices sometimes have to refer within the same city or town, and they kind of want to keep track of that exchange. But so I thought that brings that up for me too. Yeah, interesting. And then Matt, what do you kind of listen for not good fit?
Actually, surprisingly, a lot of the same things. Well, I guess not surprisingly, but like it, I mean, well, we do like we have like a screening form and we have like, like an availability form and stuff that I the way it functions for me, like this isn't the actual purpose of it, I suppose, but the way it functions for me is to like identify key things that maybe I should talk to this person about this. Like for example, like the medication management, we can't do that.
Uh-huh.
So if someone is asking about that or asking for like, for example, like a diagnosis or an evaluation or something similar, I know to reach out to that person and be like, hey, by the way, we can't do that. We can't provide that service. Do you still want to move forward? This is what we provide. We provide therapy, counseling services, right?
Mm,
So that like the I guess the what is it called? This I call it the screening form to them. It's the appointment request form. The way I like to frame it is that they are requesting the paperwork basically and telling us a bit about what they're looking for so we can see if it's a good fit. Um, and and like also if people are asking or like dead set on like a certain therapist that doesn't have any openings, we know to talk to them and say, hey, just so you know, are you open to seeing anybody else? So that we can kind of get ahead of any potential problems. Like if they are really set on seeing this one person, but they're not in network or they're in insurance or they don't have openings, how do we avoid the issue of them being paired with someone that they weren't thinking that they were going to see and then being like, wait, what?
oh yeah,
Right.
that is an issue. Yeah, that is an issue.
So
Expectations around that is an issue. Yeah.
yeah, and that's why I usually tell, and this I've inherited this from previous front desk staff. I tell people over like when over the phone when we do the appointment and request the CCC phone form together. I say Oh, I like to tell people to pick at least three therapists they'd be willing to work with because who we compare you with is based on the insurance and based on availability and based on your specific needs.
Oh,
So
that's a great way to set the expectations. Yeah,
yeah,
to pick at least three. I
pick
love
it pick at least three so we have the most options for pairing you with someone that you are excited about seeing, basically.
that's a
Like
really good way to set
yeah,
expectations. Sometimes people
exactly.
just come in for one therapist and that's who they think you have 20 and they think they want to see that one and that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but because of insurance or because of availability, we might not be able to make that happen. So yeah.
Right, right. And at some practices, like the practice owner is well known and like she's the one that brings the people in, but she's really taking nobody and never will take anyone else. And so it's like they leave her on the website because of her reputation and her, expertise, but it's more like the practice owner becomes like a lead magnet or like a funnel, which is a terrible way to put it is when we're talking about healthcare, but you have to then really manage expectations or like all those people are gonna think that they have hope of waiting for that therapist or they're going to just think they'll go elsewhere, which makes no sense. That's a really good way to say pick three up front. Because I always tell people to present two. Like once you've made the match, present two. But even just telling them earlier on, request three is really good. And hopefully one of those three is available. But I went on that tangent. So, is there anything you listen for on the phone that is like, as soon as they say that, you can't serve them at your practice, that you need to refer out?
Well, I mean, as soon as they say Medicaid Montgomery County, I'm like, oh no, they're going on the wait list. But I mean,
Oh,
that's
okay.
not actually always the case. And like I still say like, oh yeah, the availability is based on the insurance and the certain insurance specific rules, but we can check and have the billing department get back to you about it, basically.
Got
Or like if it's a insurance I don't recognize, I'm like, well, I'm not sure if we can take that, but we won't know until our billing department checks, basically, uh, as
okay.
see if we have an in-network provider. But yeah,
Got it.
like that is like, but if they mention, I guess, evaluations, I know that's a thing where I'm like, maybe this isn't a good fit. Or if they mention that they were like discharged from the hospital, we obviously need like hospital discharge forms to determine if this is an appropriate level of care for them. I
Mm-hmm.
I think we can refer out for higher levels of care, but that's Dr. W's domain. So I'm not entirely certain
Yeah.
with regards to that, but yeah.
Yeah,
Uh
that's her. That's her domain because she reads over the paperwork.
yeah, like she looks at the hospital discharge paperwork and determines if we should move forward or if they should look elsewhere. And if there's an issue with insurance, um we don't take the insurance, we're not a network with the insurance. I tell them call the number on the back of your insurance card. They should have a referral list for you there, and like sometimes we show up on referral lists because we are in network but we might not necessarily have openings of people who are in network, right?
Yeah.
So and that's kind of something I try to prime people for with the uh with me saying, yeah, who we compare you with is dependent on the insurance and the insurance rules. So
Yeah.
if they just came here because um, they're looking for
Medical
therapy, but they didn't necessarily consider the insurance too much, um, like I can recommend that they ask for the referral list from their insurance provider.
Got
So
it.
that's
Okay.
yeah, even
Yeah.
though I don't have a specific referral list to give them,
You
that's
don't have a referral list. Okay.
that's at least something I can recommend to them that can help.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And there is a whole thing about people taking responsibility for their own care, like knowing what's covered, knowing who's in network, and it's a fine line because like a lot of places do you run the benefits for them when they should really know their benefits, but it is a courtesy and it's also protecting the practice from, yeah, getting paid. So it's interesting the like referral list concept and who you have to frequently refer to or empowering them to find that out. Yeah. Stacy, do you have any experience with or other additional examples?
I don't think I have anything additional. Um, I'd like to think that everybody who calls, right, is a potential. So I like to try to overcome, certainly if they're looking for medication or if they're looking for testing, those are not things we do, so we can't help with that. But a lot of people don't realize, for example, that, although they want medication, it's very important to do therapy with the medication. And most psychiatrists, at least around here, do not do therapy with the medication.
Hmm.
So, you know, trying to turn it around and not let the opportunity go and just making sure to say, although we don't do that, we do this, and it's important that you do them in conjunction. Do you have a therapist now? And if not, you know, give us a whirl, why don't you?
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice way to encourage that because it does make a difference, right? Of course, it's their choice if they do both. Yeah, unless the psychiatrist prescribes it, right? It's really interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. So at your practice, are you asking the question about clinical need? Are you and Matt like saying what brings you to therapy? What are you struggling with right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you do ask that. Okay. Yeah. Um, got it. So they will that they will tell you what's going on and then you kind of make the determination. But do they put more about the clinical need in the paperwork that Dr. W reviews?
Yes. Yeah. On the availability screen form, I mean, usually what I do is tell them, yeah, oh yeah, we're gonna fill out the screening form real quick and you can like quickly overview what you're looking for and what your needs are, but you'll be able to more precisely define in the paperwork that you get what you're
Yeah.
kind of, yeah,
So then she's making that match based on their
based
clinical
on
need.
what's in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's different at different practices. Like sometimes the care coordinator, like I think at Maria's practice, but like a lot of the practices, you have like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to kind of listen what's going on and match them. Maybe 10, 15 minutes max, maybe just two sentences, right? And then you match based on that. So is that how you do it, Maria? Like you're doing the match or at your practice, does it go to Danny or Jen?
It's Jessica, the clinical
Ah,
director.
sorry. It does. It goes to Jessica. Okay, so you have that in common. Yeah. It's just so interesting to me because there's no right or wrong, but so you have that in common where you're sending them to Jessica, she's reviewing, making the match, and then telling you who they go with. But
Yeah,
more often
that's
than
right.
yeah, more often than not, I hear that the care coordinator is placing. Um, yeah, so it's interesting. So last question for you, because I know this because of particular functionalities users of the CRM have requested. Like, I know that this is true at some practices. At your practices, do you have a list of people that are they have been clients before or they've called in before and they're not welcome back? Like you're not able to serve them? So because people have asked me in the CRM, can we have like a red flag list of like people we've turned away, we've referred out, or have had experiences with therapists and we know we can't handle them, but they continue for whatever reason they inquire again and maybe a new care coordinator doesn't know that that person has been on the list where like must be referred out. So does your practice CW do you have such a list?
We don't have like a list, but there are some people who exist in my brain that I'm like, they have like inquired a couple of times, and when I see this name, I get shivers down my spine, and I like it's like a ghost passing through the room basically, and I'm
Okay.
like,
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wait, but why do you get the shivers? Like,
because they're kind of scary.
okay, and you're
But
not able to place them at the practice. Like there's no
well,
you're not able to
and
serve
we
them.
can, but they're very uncooperative. Like they,
Okay.
uh, I mean, there's one person that they frequently come back and inquire, and we ask something and they're like, okay, I'll look elsewhere, and like they yell at us over the phone, and then inevitably they come back later,
Oh, okay.
but it a
Yeah.
little strange. But yeah, also some people, um Stacy knows who I'm talking about, like where every now and then we hear from them again and they're asking for something and we provide it, but they're still not satisfied, and they keep coming back and like threatening us. Not like physically, like I'm gonna kill you, not that kind of thing, but like
Okay, good.
or maybe one time. Regardless, I wasn't here for the whole narrative arc, but it seems interesting, and
Oh,
when I
interesting.
every now and then I forget, and then they return, and I'm like, oh,
There they are again.
there they are again. Yeah, but
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, okay. At any business, like any establishment that is a business, there are customers that are difficult, clients that are difficult, right? But you work with them, but you don't like working with them, but their clients are difficult. And then there's this other tier of people that the practice has decided they are not taking them on as clients. Like they are not allowed to be clients. They're not taking them on as clients for XYZ reason. Like they're just not a good fit and we cannot serve them and we will not serve them, right? So there's two different lists. So this is interesting. Yeah. So you have some people in your mind that you're like, but not, maybe there's not like a public list. I mean, an internal office list of like people that you cannot serve, like you're not
No,
bringing back, right? Not right now.
not
Okay.
that I'm aware of. No.
Love the ghost. Okay. Because that's interesting because practices have asked me for that. They're like, can we put a tag? Can we put a red flag for every time this person inquires? Cool. Maria, how about you? Do you have a red flag list?
I do know some people, but if normally if they inquire through email, I would check the email address if they have inquired previously about the same issue. But if it's through a phone call, I don't have a way to find out except if I remember them. So most of the time, I remember them, if especially if they have inquired something that is weird or that's something that we can't really provide. It's just like um what do you call that? Like it's I just remember them if they
Okay.
call.
Yeah. You just remember them at cool. So luckily it's not a big issue at either of your practices. That is a good thing to know. Yeah. Yeah. And everyone's always calling because they're struggling with something, right? And sometimes the thing they're struggling with like presents itself in the scheduling process, right? Like that can be the case. All right, good to know. Well, great. We are right at the end of the hour. Is there anything else any of you wanted to touch base on? Anything you wanted to touch base about before we close?
None for me.
Okay, cool. And but this was a good discussion. We're both going to be in conversation with each other with mental wellness and with CW about Admira stuff. So I'll be talking to you about that tomorrow, CW. Actually, so I wish you the best, Maria, with this week of Admira. But Maria, I do have like 5 or 10 minutes if you want to stay on and just look at that email automation.
Yes,
Do you
please.
want to look at that automation? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, because I really think that's a fast result, a thing we can resolve quickly. I think. Let me see if we can do that. Okay, yeah. So just stay on, and then Matt and Stacy, thank you. I will see you tomorrow afternoon.
Thanks, Barrett.
All right, take care. Bye. I am